Hello, hello, hello. Alright, today we are going to be talking about animation tips and tricks. Specifically, some of the stuff I use a lot in my own animations. For starters, for my job, I do a lot of stick figure animation. Now, some people will diss the stick figure animation, but let me tell you, you cannot go wrong with this. If you want to get something done quick and easy, this is what you want to do. Alright, so first thing I'm going to show you is how to do an effective blink. First, I'm going to go ahead and create a head for this character that we're going to be practicing on. And what I like to do for my stick figures, instead of, drawing the head over and over and over again, I create a symbol. There we go. I create a symbol that we will use, head, and this will be the head that, for each frame it's just going to be this head. And if we need to, we can stretch it, we can squash it, we can do whatever we want. Alright, and for here, we'll put it on the head layer. Alright. On top of the head is usually where we will have our face. Some people will put eyes, noses, and mouths all in different layers, but usually I typically just keep it all in one, because usually, that's white. Usually I'll just have the two eyes and a mouth. Alright, now with blinks, let's go and add some frames. Blinks are pretty simple. It's pretty hard to mess up a blink. You usually have, we'll take out these eyes. You usually have one frame where the eyes are closed. Oh, that's a really thick eye. Hang on. Now, see, we need to adjust the smoothing. I'm going to take it down to 45. There we go. I like that a little bit more. No, I don't. Hang on. 40. Okay, there we go. 40 is good. Alright, so we have open, close, open, close. That's pretty normal. And you're like, how can you improve these two frames? Let's copy this frame, paste it over here, and we have blink. Lock this so we don't get that weird checker effect. Blink. Blink. Now it's cool and all, it gets the job done, but it's kind of boring. It's very stiff. So what I like to do is typically I'll add another keyframe here at the end. We haven't changed anything yet, it's still the same blink, but when his eyes go from closed to open, what I like to do, and I'll show you a little secret, is I like to come in this frame right as it opens, take the eyes and stretch them just a little bit. Make sure they stay lined up. So now what's going to happen is he's going to blink and his eyes kind of bounce a little bit. Blink. Blink. And sometimes I'll drag the closed eye frame out a little bit so his eyes will be closed for a little bit longer and kind of exaggerate that blink. Now that's just one little thing that I do for blinking that can also apply to a lot of different things, this kind of bounciness in his blink. Now let's say for instance we give him some eyebrows. Let's go ahead and clear all this. 15 frames. Alright, let's say he had some eyebrows. Now this falls more so into secondary motion, but we're going to kind of cover it here anyways. Let's say this character started out with eyebrows. He had eyebrows the whole time. We're going and add a frame for, well actually let's go ahead and add two frames so we don't have to go ahead and copy that. We're going to delete these eyes and let's do the blinking pose. in which, as he blinks, his eyebrows are going to come down a little bit. So, blink, blink. Now the same kind of bounce effect can be used here. Except this time what we're going to do is we're just going to manually raise up the eyebrows a little bit, and then we're going to stretch the eyes to give them that bounce. So what we get is that. We can do even more if we wanted to. At this very last frame, we could have his eyebrows come down just a little bit more. Oh, turn that off. Right now his eyebrows are kind of drifting over to the right, so let's line them back up, and then blink, blink. And I think that looks really nice, and it's a good way to kind of convey the secondary motion in the eyebrows. Let's say the eyebrows and the eyes are not connected, so sometimes, you know, they might move a little slower or move a little bit behind the motion of the eyes actually blinking. Now, same can be applied to arms, legs, any types of appendages. So let's give him a body. Ugh. I'm not going to worry about the legs. I'll give him one arm. And what we're going to do is we're going to make him raise his arm. I'll make him blink, and then right here, add a blink frame. Have his arm come up. Well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use two different things. I'm going to use both smears and this kind of secondary motion to get him to go from here to here. To make it look really quick, blank keyframe, we're going to draw his body like normal. And instead of just doing the one arm, we're going to give him two arms and some kind of motion lines. So now, real quick, his arm's going up, really quick. Blink, arm up real quick. Now, it's still kind of stiff. Even though it looks super fast and snappy, we don't want it to be snappy. We want it to be a little bouncy. We want it to be a little bit more natural. So what we're going to do is for this first frame, before this arm goes up, we're going to have him build up some momentum. And to do that, we're going to show that right before, or right as his arm starts to move, we're going to have a tiny bit of movement. This is kind of like having his arm ease into the motion. And then here at the very end, we're going to have it kind of ease to a stop right here. Similar to how the eyebrows kind of kept moving down, you know, slightly. Same with the arm. Kind of whoosh, comes to a rest. But we can add even more to that. Add another blank frame. And going back to that bounce, we're going to have his arm come back forward a little bit, as if he kind of swept it up, overextended it, and it's coming back to rest. So now, it comes up and comes to rest. Comes up and comes to rest. It would look a lot better if I didn't try to go and animate his whole body. If it was just the arm, it would look better. But what can you do? You know. So we have blink, and the arm coming up. Another thing I want to show you guys is squash and stretch, and how that can play into smearing. And real quick, to kind of show you some examples of smearing, here's a good example from the Animaniacs where they added extra lines for the feet, motion lines, extra noses, 2 noses in some cases, 3 noses, blurred running, multiple arms, distorted. You know, these are all great examples of smears. But what I'm going to show you is we're going to take the classic bouncing ball and kind of play with that a little bit. So let's say we have our corner of our house. This is wall and our floor. Alright, we'll lock that. And let's say someone off screen is throwing a ball. It's going to come in here, bounce here, and then maybe bounce away. I'm not going to animate all that, but I'm going to do the rough keyframes to kind of show you how I would go about doing that. Now, real quick, let's reference the alpha down so we can still kind of see it. Okay. So first thing we know is the ball is going to make contact with this point right here. So let's draw a ball kind of squished like this. And then have another one squished up against this wall. So really from here what we want to do is kind of fill in the frames. Before the ball hits here, obviously it's going to have some sort of trajectory coming in from off screen. So what we can do is we use that smear principle. You know what? I forgot to turn the alpha up. Easy fix. Alright. So what we'll do right here is we'll bring that smear in. Kind of give us fastball. And see that we're also kind of elongating the ball as well to show how fast it is. And right now I'm doing this on 2s. If I pushed it down to 1s, it would be even faster. Possibly too fast. So let's see. That's not bad. And from there, it'll kind of start to slow down as it reaches the top of this arc, and it'll start to regain its round ball-like shape. I'm being kind of sloppy, but it's just to kind of get the point across. And as it starts to come down, oops. As it starts to come down, it'll start to stretch again because it's gaining speed. I'll just have it squish here. Bounce off in this direction. It's going to be faster than that. So let's just take a look at what we got. And that was just what, 2 minutes? You could spend even more time smoothing this out, adding more frames. But just take notice at how kind of fluid it looks because of the smearing, 2, the squashing and stretching, smearing, squashing and stretching, and then easing in, slowing down, speeding up, squashing, stretching, slowing down, you know. All these principles are something you should be very aware of when doing animation. And I hope some of these tips have helped you. And if you want, leave a comment about stuff you'd like to see me explain or go in depth about, concepts, strategies, that you see in animation that you don't quite understand. I will do my best to try to help explain them and illustrate them the best I can. So I hope this has been helpful for you. And yeah, that's all I got to say. All right, goodbye.